Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Metaworld News. This week we are bringing you the headlines for the week ending the 27th of September of the year 2020.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I mean, if any archaeologists are digging up this to watch, you might be wondering, was there a 2020?
Indeed.
Well, I'm gonna show you the was, and this is living proof. How long we'll be living the proof, I don't know, but that's another matter. My name is Mal Burns. That's Mal and then Burns. But if you want to find me on Twitter, you're going to have to squash me. Yes, you are.
Hmm.
And I really don't like being squashed, but here goes. It's twitter.com/Malburns, Malburns. I'm also joined here by James Atloud, who is projecting my desktop for your delight, as well as my avatar for your additional delight, and his avatar for even more delight, for that matter. The
Even
whole
more
mixed,
delight. That's right.
yes,
It's
even
unending
more.
delight
So,
here.
unending delight, yes,
Yep.
indeed. Uh, yes,
And filmed in an actual virtual world.
indeed. Well, how can we go wrong?
How can we go
Um,
wrong? Indeed.
EMP.
Huh?
Never mind. Never mind. Right. Okay, let's get on with this. Anyway, yes, as I say, we're bringing you news on, sort of virtual reality worlds and things, a little bit of hardware when it comes to haptics and interfacing with our computers. And we also have an additional Twitter feed, which is twitter.com/metaworldnews. Again, squashed, and again, like this show. And that particular feed is where we house the sort of slightly off-center stuff that relates to immersive spaces and the communities therein, etc., rather than the sort of general news overview. Um, let's get started. Behind the scenes here, I've developed eyes in the back of my head, or rather, I wish I had, because I'm
Mm.
about to turn 180 degrees. I'm going to have my backs to you, the audience, for the rest of the show, but you won't know
We
it.
don't know that.
You
Right.
won't know it. Thanks to virtuality, it looks like I'm still looking at you. Isn't it wonderful? Thank you, James.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful indeed.
Right. So, if this was real life, you'd be looking at the back of my head and my headphones, and you wouldn't be able to see the mic anymore. But thanks to an avatar, you can see me. Okay, let's start. I'm going to get James to put the first link up on screen now, and this is our regular. It's normally our first post of the week because it's also Scarred Ghost, the Ghost Howls. It's also their first post of the week. There'll be another one here, of course, tomorrow morning because that's the day they choose to update their week peak. They do cover a bit that we don't on this show, so bearing in mind that this link is actually going to something that was last Monday, it's sort of almost a week old, but there is extensive news in there that we may not have covered elsewhere. It's called the XRP Week Peak. The site is called the Ghost Howls, but the actual address is scarredghost.com. So that's SKARREDGHOST.com. Right. Um, Here it is. I'm scrolling down now, as you can see it. Oh dear, what an unfortunate picture we got there. Is that real? It's like a baby Trump, isn't it? Um, Sorry. Other relevant news. That's probably where we want to be. Nvidia buying ARM for 40 billion. That was news last week. ARM being, of course, the American processor and chip company here in the UK. They're in Cambridge, and I gather they're going to be staying there, but they're now owned by Nvidia, who actually I think are European anyway. So good for that. Um, you can buy new Leap Motion version 2 accessory, which is great news for those of us who've got version 1 and will now have to update. And it's not cheap anymore. It's $250. Ultra Leap Stereo IR 170. I think the one I've got, the original one, up to now has been about $30. So it better be something better than that. That's all I can say. There are a couple of links from Scar Ghost there to find out more about it. PlayStation 5, which of course is a gamer's console, its price has been revealed basically. There aren't too many what I call virtual worlds on PlayStation, but it's mostly gaming. But they are allied technologies, so to speak. Um, Pico. Um, well, the device is targeted to VR consumers in China. It's a headset, basically, and it costs about 560 US dollars or 3,799 yuans. Yeah. Um, anyway, more there. Uh, research mode in HoloLens 2, Ecto VR, new locomotion boots. Either I have this up later or we had that on last week's show. I think we did have it on last week's show. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
forecast for headset sales, use from partners, etc., etc. Oh, and some funny links. Ooh, all 9 of them. I'm not going to click on them. Anyway, that is the scarghost.com and the weekly XR week peak. Yes, peak week. That's almost as good as a room. But never mind, we'll get to that.
Almost.
I know we haven't got a room this week.
Okay.
I don't,
Okay.
no, I don't think I've got one this week, so I can't give off my sound effects. Never mind. I'm sure people will live without them. Right. Now, another aside there, that no proscenium is the way I've taken to calling it, as in scene and um, the spelling of this for the web purposes, it's all one word as opposed to two. You see on the title there, it's NOPROSCENIUM.com. And once again, this is another roundup site. They love doing this at the beginning of the week. This is everything immersive this week, except it was last week, if you see what I mean. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we should do this show on Monday nights and all this stuff will be up to date, but nevertheless, oh, well, it's Monday this one anyway. Um, yep, anyway, it's housed at well, as you can see, it's noproscenium.com. It's actually housed at Medium, but you don't need their paywall. And 5 minute read, they reckon. Um, talking about their own new offices. Oculus Quest 2, of course. How can they not be? They also have a podcast embedded there, which you can also get on if you have a podcast subscriber, you may well be getting that anyway. As the No Proscenium podcast is called, basically. And they're up to episode 265, so they've been doing that bit for quite a while. Um, okay, various stuff from shows. This is a list of various VR related things going on, and you probably won't find this much use unless you're in America. I think it's all pretty American centric, but nevertheless, might be useful to some of you. Oh, especially if you are in America, of course. Okay, and pretty little typical high tech looking graphics go with it all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm putting that one away. I did give you, yes, no proscenium.com. And yeah, now this must be the season for the greedy pigs to go acquiring things, really. Microsoft have acquired Skyrim, the VR maker, and Oculus. Oh no, this is other news. The Oculus lawsuit rivals Animax. Um, yeah, this is the build that makes Skyrim VR, Fallout 4, Doom, Wolfenstein, and because they're a parent company of a whole load of um, sub companies, basically gaming companies,
Yeah.
and yeah, basically it puts all this stuff into Microsoft hands. So it gives them something else to ruin, doesn't it? Really,
Yeah, yeah. Like the
a
days of
lot of
buying Bungie. They bought Bungie to get Halo, and that went on for a long time. I
yeah,
play a lot of ZeniMax games and authored by Bethesda Studios, and
yeah.
I enjoy them a lot. So we will see what happens.
Also, Cinemax, the legendary game developer John Carmack, has stolen Bethesda-owned technology in the process of working with Palmer Luckey on early prototypes of
Oh
the
yeah, that's
Oculus.
the lawsuit,
Oh, don't
right?
tell me. Oh, well, maybe this isn't so bad. It looks like in the process of this acquisition, they puts Microsoft party to a lawsuit against Oculus. Oh, isn't the world wonderful, really? Okay, well, if you want to read more about this, you can go to uploadvr.com, which is uploadvr.com. Couldn't be easier, that one, really.
Yep.
And find out more about that. Needless to say, there's been almost, I won't say as much, but almost as much talk about this takeover as there was about the Zuckerberg empire taking over. Well, he didn't take over, they already had Oculus, but there was, you know the story. You couldn't have
Right,
missed
right.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
no more on that one.
probably the biggest thing here would be I don't think it affects Apple because I don't believe those games can be played on Apple. But they're often cross-platform to Xbox and PlayStation, and of course now that
Yeah.
Microsoft owns it, is that going to continue with PlayStation? Is
Oh, good point.
the question?
Yeah, I don't think it's mentioned in this particular summary, but a lot of people felt they wanted it because it would give Xbox an even
Right.
greater foothold than it's already got.
Yep.
Especially as I think I've not tested it really, but I think you can actually play Xbox games on Windows
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
So it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's classic. I mean, Bungie, who made Halo, was an Apple developer, and of course
ah,
Microsoft took them up right away, brought them into the Microsoft fold.
and that was the last that was seen of them, no doubt. Right. Okay, I better shut up, hadn't I?
I don't know.
Anyway, find
Hey,
that at uploadvr.com. I'm going to put that one
you're
away
not a
before I.
gamer, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a slight addenda on last week's. I remember it's in last week's thing the Mist
Oh, right,
VR
right.
version that's coming
For
to go.
Quest, right?
That unfortunate object named O. Um, well, one of their O's anyway. Um, apparently, it is planned to have a desktop version and platform console versions of it. It's just that it will be launched only initially for the headset, but it will ultimately be released as a sort of screen-based
Yeah, and of
VR.
course it won't support Apple. That'll be probably the biggest thing.
That'd be a shock. Well, actually, Apple made
Right,
Mist.
right. Quest was an Apple game to start with, so I mean Mist.
Yeah,
Mist
Mist. You mean? Yeah,
was a
Mist.
an Apple
Yes, yes. I mean,
Apple
and
product.
it was the envy of a whole load of Windows users and
Yep,
things
yep.
because back in the day they had nothing like that. So, for Mac to have come out with this game, of course, it wasn't iOS then. It was just. I bet you it would come to iOS eventually. I mean, they've ported everything else except Abduction to iOS.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and in
yeah.
fact, I've actually the iOS is one place I've actually got a VR version of Mist already. They remastered it as a 3D environment,
Hmm.
and they released it in the App Store a few years ago. And it's exactly the same, except that you don't feel yourself moving from screen to screen. You actually feel like you can just spin and walk anywhere in the world.
Right, right.
So it makes quite a big difference, and you just do it with your fingers, in fact, or two controls at the bottom. But yeah. Anyway, we'll find out
We will.
when it
Yep.
all happens. Okay, I have moved on to a site you're probably familiar with called Voices of VR.
Yep.
.com. And I'm just looking at the window. Oh no, the window's right. Yeah, okay. Um, September 21st. This is the only one I've got here this week. It would have been Monday. Of course, it was linking into what was the big news still this time last week. It's an interview with somebody called Guy. I was going to say a guy called Guy, a guy Godin, that is, on getting cloned by Facebook and also virtual desktops forbidden wireless streaming features. Another highly critical one of the devices that seem to pop up in the Zuckerberg empire. All right. You will find that at Voices of VR, three words squashed into one.com. And if you actually just want to listen to the podcast and don't really see much point in reading that summary, you can subscribe to the podcast all over the place, of course. So, yeah, and in fact, if you go here and go to the podcast archives, you'll get the links to, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. There's a link to it. Right. Put that one away. Got quite a few this week, but we're getting through them quite quick.
Yeah.
So we're back at this other site again called No Proscenium. Yes. NOPROSCEN. That's right. IUM.com. And yeah, when this reality fails you, try escaping to a virtual one. Opinion. Yes, it's an opinion here. How I learned to stay sane-ish
Hmm.
during a global pandemic by playing VR games and remote escape rooms. I don't know who Cara Mandel is, but good point, good point.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice little article there, and it comes complete with a zoomy ghast, I guess is what you call them. It's some kind of blockage on my screen there, as you can see. The text goes underneath and pops up again. If I do it fast, you can see what I mean. I have no idea what that is. Um, Evil Dead 2 Escape Room. It looks just like a Zoom call to me. Anyway, yeah, interesting information there. Sort of, don't panic, go VR, as the poster probably should say. And I said, actually, it doesn't look like that person's having a comfortable time in VR, does he?
Hmm.
What's going on there? He asked himself.
Adventure.
Oh, it's probably a Facebook product that blew up on him. Right, moving on.
At least that headline has is follows my desire for truth in headlines. That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's yes, that's a decent sort of site.
Yeah. Opinion. Opinion.
Yeah. Opinion. Well, everything's opinion, really. Everything I say is opinion. Well, short of reading out the odd headline, followed by opinion.
Yep.
Yes, a lot of opinion sometimes. Serious opinionation,
Yes.
often verging on the rabbit hole, even.
Mm.
Let's get back on track, shall we? The
Yep.
V&A Museum, they are in Britain here. In fact, they're just down the road from me in Kensington. They're inviting audiences down the rabbit hole. Talking of which, down the rabbit hole, how about that for a segue?
Nice.
I wasn't even looking at that.
That's
Right, V&A Museum
brilliant.
is inviting audiences down the rabbit hole to experience its Alice in Wonderland show in virtual reality. Now, we did mention this last week, I think. It certainly wasn't this article, the ArtNet. This one only came out this. Oh no, it's done its right. ArtNet are a bit of a pain when it comes to this. You start scrolling and it vanishes.
This isn't the
Okay.
same mode that was causing red text recently, is it?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no, it's not. I mean, there's various different things I can do to this, but I don't think it's no, it's not. It's I this site has often done this thing when you start scrolling. It's sort of, it maybe they're trying to, maybe they're waiting for you to okay the thingy. No, still
Oh.
doing it.
Okay.
Anyway, what you find this article at news dot artnet artnet.com. With a bit of luck, you'll be in a browser that they are happy to display it in, for want of a better word. I don't think any of my toggles will actually make a difference here because I'm on a different machine. I can make it light instead of dark, but there
Doesn't
again,
change it, right?
it's not there either. So yeah, it's not the dark mode setting. It's just a cantankerous website. You know, they probably don't know how to code it properly. Something or something. Right, moving on. Uploadvr.com again. uploadvr.com. And oh yes, this was mentioned in Scargo's thing anyway. But yeah, it's you can watch this. Robotic VR boots keep you in one spot while you walk forward. This was posted on Tuesday. Pittsburgh-based Ecto VR thinks it might have solved the VR locomotion problem, and they've got a little video you can watch there. Um, no, we're not going to. I haven't got 3 minutes for somebody else's video. We haven't tried them ourselves, says the reviewer. that's not that's not what you want to hear from a reviewer, is it? I
Yeah.
haven't tried it myself,
Right. Right.
but here's my opinion. Not my review, my opinion. Yes, but back to the opinionation. Anyway, they will give you a little bit more information if you. It's based on a press release, so I guess they know what they're talking
That's written
about.
by Jamie.
Upload.
Okay. Yep. D-
Uploadvr.com is the one you want for that one. Right, moving on. Right, this is at medium.com, and the user is if you can get, you'll have to follow my link on Twitter to actually get to this. It seems to be doesn't seems to get by the firewall easily enough. Um, Steve Grubbs here, who wrote the article, is his folder at medium.com. Well, it's medium.com slash, then the at symbol, and then SEGKRG. And if you were to follow that link, that would presumably take you to all the articles by him. And this would be September 19th, a pretty recent one. Um, it's it's more for educators and things. This the advantages of a digital twin virtual reality campus, and he the guy is the founder of something called Victory XR. This looks like I've got another page with a nasty thing on it. I will try and toggle dark mode again here. Oh, okay. Well, light mode works here. Sorry about the screen glaring at you. The, white backgrounds are not made for TV. In fact, in the old days, you'd have just blown up your cathode ray tubes.
yeah, yeah.
But some people will never learn. Um, they ought to make it compatible, if nothing else. How do digital twin campuses make an institution more effective and innovatory? And an anatomy class has a human cadaver, but students will get their own heart to hold and learn from, and can then make that heart 8 foot tall, step inside the heart, and learn while standing inside the human organ, etc., etc. Very much for education here. Or not well, education at many levels, I should think. I mean, that would probably be fun for fairly young kids to take apart body parts and step into them, a bit like on the other hand, potentially, right up to research level at universities and things, I imagine the technology would be um, useful. Um, okay. Post COVID, when students can again join together on a physical campus, the world will have changed and expectations will have changed. Interesting point. Um, but for the moment, they don't apparently need it. They've got that, haven't they? Okay. So, as I say, medium.com slash at symbol SEGKRG, and you should be able to get to that article easily enough. You can certainly get it by going to twitter.com slash Malbones and clicking through on the link that is titled Advantages of a Digital Twin Virtuality Campus. Oof, good job I'm not a singer. I should have taken a breath on that one. Right. Moving on. Okay, this is arpost.co. ARPOST dot and then co, not com or not co UK or anything like that, just arpost co. And it's talking about a company called Fundamental VR who've expanded immersive learning capabilities with their teaching space. And what more can I say? It's a report on expanded capabilities of yet another platform. Um, it's quite a good one. I don't know if there's any real public aspect to this platform or whether it is a sort of package solution for the enterprise or education, more education than anything else. It's not really clear, but certainly if you're interested in that, especially in education again, probably follow up this post. See one, arpost.co. All right, can go away too. Ah, old friends, Road to VR. Just about see their logo at the top there. Website is roadtovr.com. And yeah, if you mouse over in the wrong place, the title of it gets replaced by. Oh, I know what it is. It's a style sheet, isn't it? Right. Some style sheets are really objectionable. Slip on your mouse and you think you're on a new page. Right. Now, how can I read out this headline without feeling ill? Um, Here we go again is the headline I tend to give it. In fact, I think when I tweeted it, you might find that the tweet probably says something like "Here they go again," um,
Opinionating.
because yeah, the empire to Zuckerberg has bought something else for their arsenal of taking over the world. This is a very focal startup called Lemnis Technologies, and they create very focal optics for use in VR headsets. Guess what? And they've reportedly been absorbed by the nameless corporation in an acqui-hiring move. Yes, I guess that's something that Mr. Zuckerberg likes doing. Acqui-hiring, eh? Right. Um, okay. They announced in mid-August that they were taking embarking on a new adventure, but nobody knew what. This is actually it. They are based in Singapore, and they're relatively a startup. Other than that, they don't actually say much. Oh no, no, there's more down here. Um, so yeah, they were incorporated in 2016. Oh well, incorporated in 2017 in Singapore, setting out to solve a problem that's plagued VR since its inception, the Virgin's accommodation conflict. Okay, nice and technical this. So if you want to hear more about this, go to road2vr.com. And that was posted on September 22nd, which would have, yeah, that would have been Tuesday too. We're still fairly early in the week here. Right, moving on, moving on. Yep, still on Tuesday. Immersive Web Weekly. So this is just as the title sounds. IMMERSIVEWEBWEEKLY, immersivewebweekly.com. And it's basically a weekly newsletter, like Trevor Flowers. You'll find him on Twitter too, actually, but this is a roundup for every week, really. Um, Another WebXR centric browser. It's a Chromium, a Google Chrome fork called Metachromium. Oh, it had to happen, didn't I? Oh, Maria would love that one. We got a Metachromium now. It doesn't take over the scene, but composites together the base experience with WebXR content. Okay. Um, I should probably follow that up to see if I can find an actual article on that, so it should pass me by. So, I don't think. Just double check. Uh, okay. Right. Okay. This is my way of just bookmarking it for follow up. Right. Um, New features of the dear. That's what I call it. Oh dear. Browser. WebXR entries in the JavaScript 13K Games 2020. Representative one of share half length WebXR introduction. So the focus here is, as the title suggests, on the immersive web. Where it's not just immersive spaces or anything. The stuff covered here does actually need to be on the web. So if you have a virtual world that's on the web, um, then this is the place to go and try and get listed, I guess. Okay, moving on. ImmersiveWebWeekly.com. That was. And we got two posts this week, I believe, if I recall, from Variety magazine. The first one here is somebody writing about how festivals are launching a joint VR platform. Um, a lot of this is offshoots from the Venice Film Festival, which not only happened virtually this year, but also contained rather a lot of virtual content this year as well, which is kind of makes sense given the changes all around. Um, so they're kind of talking about this, but the focus here, just as the people at Sansar here, where we're broadcasting from, there is very much based on holding actual events and even getting people to buy tickets to attend events happening in a virtual world. Have I got that? Oh, I knew I hadn't toggled something. Right. Now it looks better. Okay. Right. Okay. Toggle, toggle, toggle. I wish it would go away and just
Mm,
stay like that.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is a variety. It's very simple. It's variety.com. And this was posted on Tuesday. That one is that, so to speak. Now, for convenience sake, I'm going to skip ahead in the week a little bit because I do know I have another post here. Now, I got two more posts from Variety this year. Right, on September 25th, which would have been Thursday, Friday, something like that.
Friday. Yep.
Tony Peralti did their VR pioneer did real time technologies helping people get the job done, and they did an interview with him, which is again, their emphasis is tends to be on um, VR, as the new film festival kind of thing. Um, but they got their hands on the right person there to talk about it. Tony is very good, and these days he's with Unity Technologies, of course. Although he's got his hands in many, many things. Right, so again, variety.com. Do I really need to tell you that? No, I don't. Especially as my next link, the latest link of the week, actually, September 27th. That was either today or yesterday. No, today, yeah. Right, Variety again. So, VARI, yeah, variety.com. Growth in user generated contents will drive VR market expansion. So, they've done an article on that. That Variety are having a good week with VR.
Yep.
Um, Inevitably, they're mentioning people from the Burger Empire, but yeah. Anyway, more to read, basically. It's when I see things like this as articles, or even if they're just short posts here in Variety and things like that, I think, well, something's happening because, of the nature of the magazine Variety. If this stuff is being covered so extensively, it indicates that there's a bit of a viral thing going on here in terms of interest. All that is, of course, a very good thing. I think for those of you who know the field, you're not going to learn much from these articles, but nevertheless, it's good to kind of see them happening, so to
Yeah, kind
speak.
of like I was just verified the Internet Movie Database, IMDb.
Oh yeah,
They now index games along with movies and television. So, Variety covering virtual reality seems like a natural leap.
yeah. There's also a I think there's a browser out now. It's harder and harder to get straight through to the Internet Archive these days. Mostly because there's always been stuff there since the beginning of time that
Right, right.
people were moan is copyright. Whereas every time I've done a website, I automatically run a script that sends it for backup to the Internet Archive. So from my point of view, I mean it's a obvious place to be, especially as at least two of my websites no longer exist anymore unless you find them at the archive. You never get the full thing at the archive, but you get a simulation of what they were like, and you can always read the content, if not the links. The links may not be current, but yeah, but nowadays it's getting much harder, despite the fact they've moved all their servers from the US up to Canada. It's still much harder to get through. I've got a bookmark in my browser here which says "Save to Internet Archive," which is very useful. But because I'm just basically sending a tip to the archive saying, from my point of view, it'd be useful if you archive this, and they usually archive anything they're allowed to. But even that fails now sometimes, so who knows? Anyway, the reason I mentioned that, of course, is your comment, James. There are, if you can get to the Internet Archive, a whole load of movies and indeed games that they've been archiving. I don't know since Jerry Garcia was still alive,
Mm-hmm.
because it was the Grateful Dead, of course, the company who set up the Internet Archive way back when. Right. Anyway, so Variety there. A good place. Good to know that people who read Variety, and it has a big audience because of what it is, are getting exposure to this sort of thing. Right. Moving back. to earlier in the week again. Uh, no, it's September 10th. This is not earlier in the week. This is somewhere. Oh God. Okay, this is a post at LinkedIn. I know what's happened here. Some clever dick has thought, oh, I'll send a link to my article of 2 weeks ago
Oh,
on Twitter or something. Okay, well, it's in my Twitter feed anyway. XR and spatial computing: how consumers will interact with an immersive world. September the 10th is only what 2.5 weeks ago, but even so, um, they could have actually posted it a bit near the point in time. Whether that's LinkedIn's fault, you can't see it, but LinkedIn's at the top here. So the web address you want for this is actually linkedin.com, linkedin.com, and then slash pulse, and then slash the name of this article. I think you'll find this is another one of the ones that if you really, really want to read it, go to my Twitter feed and click through, because I can't read out the whole thing there. Okay, moving on to Forbes. Yeah, Forbes. Now, this time it's Terry Powell, who's the Forbes Council's member. For ways businesses can go virtual beyond the usual video call, as if the video call was virtual, but yeah. Looking at Zoom, Skype, and all the rest of it, but then talking about virtual workshops, virtual conferences, expos. Um, Very little mention of actually platforms or things like that. It's more of an abstract on, what you should be doing. The only software seems to be mentioned here is Zoom, even though the article is clearly geared to be about more than a Zoom call. You'll find this one at forbes.com, and it was published on September 25th, which is just a couple of days ago, Friday, I believe. So if you go to Forbes and look at their login page, you might be able to find it there. Or alternatively, click at Melbourne's Twitter, and you'll be there quite easily. Right, wow, we're back on the Ghost Towels, with scarredghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. And yep, well, as you would expect, the military are involved in VR. I suspect you could say that when it comes to flight simulations and stuff like that, the military are one of the first to be involved with this kind of thing. This is about something called BI sim, which tells us how XR is relevant for the army. This is not the Air Force, it's more to do with the army, but uh, don't really know. Bohemia Interactive Simulations. Um, I'm making a point that the XR communities, people like John Westra and Tony Rogers, are actually Army veterans. Interesting.
hmm.
Um, anyway, article about the Army using VR and particularly uh, one of the things that they're coming on. Oh, and another one that, well, we've seen that video before, but the British Army, yeah. Yeah, so the military are obviously there. And it's very, yeah, well, they're using probably using it for battlefield simulation. I mean, there's just anything you can do with that. And you've got to remember, of course, that things like the Army and Navy do have airborne divisions. They're called aircraft carriers and SWAT teams, and not SWAT teams. What's the name of them? The ones that fly and parachute down.
Oh,
Um,
paratroopers.
yeah, paratroopers. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Sorry, yeah.
the military. I mean, I mean, I would say so many of the people involved in VR have been have military connections. I mean, the military's invented a lot of the VR. I mean, you know, they had use for
Yeah,
it early on.
yeah, I wouldn't say they invented it. It actually came more from the hippie generation. But yeah, like you say, they were the early adopters in seeing the potential for it in real world simulations. And we all know where that's gone since.
Yeah.
The world is very different. There's there could be an airline pilot sitting in his on his lounge operating a drone of the, he's sitting in Arizona or something, and he's operating a drone over my house here,
Yep.
getting ready to bomb me if I say a bad word against the Zuckerberger.
I'll listen.
Like the drone might just go whoosh, and I go boom.
I'll listen for the drone sound, and I'll try and let you know.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, now, anyway, who cares? Who cares? If I go, I go. I probably won't notice if a drone hits me.
That's so true.
Yeah, I mean, there are worse ways to go. Instant rather appeals to me.
Yeah.
Uh, in the right context, of course. Right, let me put this thing away before I get into a rabbit hole. Right, oh, now this is a different site. We're at a site called Inventiva.
Hmm.
Inventiva .co.in. Um, I have a feeling IN is probably India, especially given the author's name is Magahashri Das. Certainly sounds like an
Mm-hmm.
Indian name to me, although
Hmm.
certainly that subcontinent. Oh, yes, it must be India. Look at that. They've got an advert. Indian tourism. Okay, so here's what you need to know about the metaverse of VR. Now, I find that sounds a bit sort of corny and sort of, well, the metaverse of VR. Got an odd sort of ring to it. But actually, in the context, I'm beginning to wonder in the current context, it might be well, because apparently, if I had an article, all you need to know about the metaverse of superheroes, which is not something we think about as anything to do with the metaverse we know, then you might be surprised to find that in a couple of weeks' time, Comic Con in New York has moved online. And this is now known online as the metaverse. Cheeky effing sods. They're basically panel discussions between comic book creators and film people and stuff like that. It has nothing, it counts as being online, but it has nothing to do conceptually or anything else with the metaverse. Now, I mean, there's a lot of debate about what the metaverse is and how it will pan out, but it certainly doesn't go that far. I mean, it's just based basically on the name. Um, I was about to say Charles Strauss, but it's not Charles Strauss. Who was it invented it
Neil
in?
Stephenson.
Yeah, Neil Stevenson, yeah, in Snow Crash. That now his metaverse, as he saw it in fiction then, was a very specific thing and not necessarily what we would think of now, but it's certainly the root of the idea of interconnected virtual spaces, basically. Where you are online and you move from space to space rather seamlessly. Now, if the New York Comic Con had decided to use Avatar, guests and run a thing from, something like this show, but for, comic book writer panels or superhero panels, from Marvel or something, then maybe I could have said that that event would be um, constitute part of an ideal metaverse. But to actually hijack the name and sort of, I forget how they're referring to it because they're just basically saying, I think they're just using New York Con apostrophe S metaverse. So they just consider their whole convention online to be they've just taken the name metaverse and that's what they're calling it. They're using it like the word Comic Con, but because it's online, they're calling it metaverse, and it's a totally inappropriate use of the name, which means so much to so many other people, even in vague terms. So I'm very annoyed about that, and of course I do catch an awful lot of comic strip based stuff through prior interests, and the moment I started seeing that coming up, every second Twitter feed in the comics feed was saying, live at the metaverse. New York Comic Con. Metaverse panels announced. And it's been like that for weeks. And there's still a couple of weeks to go, but it's it's this event in 2 weeks' time called the Metaverse, and it ain't. It's an actual event, nothing to do with the description. Anyway, rabbit hole, go
Yeah, I
away.
hope it doesn't keep
Come
you
back.
up at night, Mel.
That does actually.
Oh
Every
no.
time I come across it,
Oh no.
well, I know you even know some of the people on the panels and taking part. I mean,
Right, right.
yeah, it just annoys me.
Yep.
How they could just, uh, you know, it shows that they absolutely know nothing about the state of online communication. You would think something like a Comic Con organizers would have known that the word is in heavy use and what it means.
Yep.
To just hijack it like that. I mean, you can understand a couple of virtual worlds or something saying we are the prime metaverse or something, because at least they are doing something that could be called part of a greater, you know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we're quite
ethos
aware of
effort.
cultural appropriation, but terminology appropriation. I think we need a society, Mal.
Well, a society for the protection of
Yes, yes. Of the
metaverse name
metaverse.
appropriations.
Yes, yes.
It could
Ah,
do. It could do. I've actually started. Well, it's actually very old. My original Discord server, which I'm revamping at the moment. To focus on multiple platforms and things. Hopefully, I'm not quite sure how it's going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
But I was almost tempted to post something to go up there and saying, "Who the f do these bloody Comic Con New York people think they are?" But anyway, I must admit, the sort of my angst is not quite so bad as in the case of the Zuckerberg empire, but it's still very annoying. Anyway, moving on. So here's what you need to know about the metaverse of VR, as they call it over in India. And they do actually know what they're talking about here, by the way. In fact, I've got a feeling that these screenshots may be from, if they're not, they're either high fidelity or Samsung, I think. Unless there's something else out there that looks almost identical, or I don't know about that. But I mean, again, they're covering it in general, so these screenshots. Now that is definitely one of the high fidelity platforms. That's an old high fidelity avatar that's in Vicadia and Tivoli, of course. Um, anyway, always interesting to get the perspective from elsewhere in the world too. So, as I say, that's INVENTIVA.co.in, and we move on. Real life, gosh golly. This is a site called reallifemag.com. RealLifemag.com. And no escape from reality. Do you remember the Queen song?
I don't actually. I'll
I,
have to look for it.
Mamma Mia, there we go.
Oh,
It's
oh, okay.
Bohemian Rhapsody. It's
Okay, I remember
Bohemian
that one.
Rhapsody. It's for the quieter bits.
Mhm. Mhm.
No escape from reality.
Oh, very
Just
good. Wow.
I'm just a young boy. Da, 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 da. No escape from reality.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I can't remember the other lyrics, but I do remember that bit. So it resounded when I saw this. The immersiveness of virtual reality fuels the fantasy of richer data collection. So this is reallifemag.com, and yeah, their focus here is actually about the way virtuality can actually be used for data collection. Now, I don't. That doesn't necessarily mean Mark Zuckerberg's idea of data collection. It also refers to being able to model 3D data and stuff like that. So it's a general article on the whole idea of using data um, in VR. VR tools are not just a means of immersive simulation, but also of data collection derived from a scenario that is real. Yeah, real enough to inspire confidence in the data's veracity. Um, we obviously feature Dayton, who have been commentary in the UK here now and again. They're probably the first. They did it in Second Life years ago. I don't think they're there anymore. But they're probably the first company who sort of they started taking what would have traditionally been things like pie charts and bar charts and whatever, and adding a third dimension to them. And actually, in one case, I think they had a fourth dimension that, well, it was a sort of fourth dimension. The It was a bit complicated. The idea being that if you look at a screen and you're in three dimensions, you're actually only viewing it in a two-dimensional screen. So if you start viewing something in three dimensions, technically you can create another dimension or another axis of information, which would be if not a fourth dimension, um, something akin to being a fourth dimension. I think it is, but I'm not going to go there. It gets very confusing. But they were modeling all this stuff in VR in Second Life, and it was amazing how much more information you could see at a glance when you had these other axes of information. It wasn't just an up and a cross or a pie or whatever. It was all elevated, so you could see just you didn't judge by the color or the height of the bar chart. You could actually see how volumetric things were, and it's really quite fascinating stuff actually. Depending on what it's used for, it could be illustrating something very boring, but Dayton particularly liked the idea of using it with cityscapes, city data, and newsrooms and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm diverging, but this is state art. This is me, is it not? I'm in a diverging day. Right. No escape from reality. Um, I guess actually, I mean, well, in a way, it's an unfortunate headline, isn't it? Because most of us probably wish we could escape from reality, but at the present time, but
Yes,
nevertheless.
I often do.
Indeed. Okay. I will put the real life mag away because the message is not optimistic, is it? Oh dear, oh dear. Real life, go away. Come on, go away, real life. Yeah, right. Okay, technical stuff here. The XR Association, they're an association of vested interest in XR and virtual stuff. XR, AR, VR, blah blah, RR. What's the? I can't remember the new Apple one. Anyway, XR Association releases results of a study, a new reality and immersive technology, XR, insights and industry trends. That's the actual study. And I'm not sure whether you can get that for free. You can certainly look at the PowerPoint presentation, which is easy enough. You can get the executive summary, and you can obviously read this article, which is its own summary. I think if you follow, if you follow one of the links, it's a PDF download, and I don't think it's free. Or these associations tend to use their papers and stuff as a way of earning money and keeping themselves going. And they're not normally very cheap either, I hasten to add. But anyway, if that is your interest, you just need to go xra.org. xra.org. And that's the site for XR Association. Quite, quite an easy to remember one there,
Hmm.
really,
Yep.
if you want to remember it. There we go. Right, back to Forbes. Now, this is Charlie Fink's regular column, Consumer Tech at Forbes. This week in XR. Again, many sites these days, of course, they're using XR to refer to AR, VR, MR, um, RR, real reality. And that, whatever Apple's new one is, I can't remember. There's just too many. Um,
I think we need a
I think we,
scoreboard.
I think we should sort of have like a Greek symbol for infinity and then R.
Oh, sure.
That
Well,
would
I
be
was
a
thinking
good
we
way of
should get
describing
a
it.
we should get a scoreboard in the studio here and just say, so here are our current acronyms for
Did you say here RR? Comment, Aaron?
here in the studio.
No, I know what you meant. It's just the way you said here are.
Oh,
It
right,
sounded
right,
like
right.
you'd invented a new
A
one.
new one. Here are. Yep.
Here are, yeah,
And
and
there
there
are.
are,
Yep. Yep.
and we are. Well, that's a good one for us. We should end with that.
We
And
are.
now from the studio here at We Are,
Oh,
with the We Are news.
jump on that one, Mel. That's a good one.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay, I will remind me to sign. Okay, when I hand to you on the sign off, remember it for me. We are, and it's good night from We Are. Yes,
and
we are.
and
We are XR. We are VR. We are AR. We are RR. We are R. Just R. Right. Anyways, Charlie Forbes, FORBES.com. September 25th, which again was when? 2 days
25th
ago, wasn't
Friday.
it? Friday, yeah,
Friday.
something like that. The weekend, so enterprise adoption financing saw. This is, of course, his roundup again. Fresh for Unity, of course, public offering has gone. Fog of war shrouded a confusing, unsettled TikTok for sale. Tick tock, tick tock, the clock is ticking, Trumpy. Um, uh, they're obviously thanking the Zuckerberger for sending them a free Quest 2, so they're biased. Dear, Microsoft buying Unity IPO, Dreamscape Education. We had that last week. Actually, there doesn't seem to be anything in that roundup, despite it being Friday. That isn't something we've already not haven't already covered here. May be wrong. Always good to check these, check these sites out, which is what I do. I sort of get them, I tweet them, and I scroll down them once, probably like I'm doing here now, just to check I'm not missing anything. I don't know. Kellogg's partners with Blippar, whoever they are. This is, of course, AR and in the Middle East. I mean, there's actually so much happening now that I find it impossible to tweet or even refer to everything. You really have to be very objective these days to just sort of you know tweet the overview stuff. Really, is what I would say. Um, oh yeah, Week in Exile, by the way, is now a podcast, and you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Oddly enough, you can't get it on Apple Podcasts, which is daft. The link launches, it says podcast apple.com, but it launches iTunes on your machine, which is, if you anybody knows, a very clunky affair. Right. Anyway, so that's at Forbes roundup. Now, this one is a site called edm.com. I don't think it was this article, but I think we did have something from them in the last week or two. Um, hang on a second, there's something let me do that old toggle again for clarification. Right, edm.com. Okay, this is their site, edm.com. And yeah, there we are. How Red Pill VR is mutating the modern music festival into a visceral virtuality experience. So again, talking about music events and things like that happening in VR. Um, that is weird. It takes the whole title off when you're in dark mode. Again, a site that just hasn't got its act together. Um, okay, so it should not be up to me to toggle a light view. Anyway, find that at edm.com. Saying no more because they're not being cooperative. Right, this is at lifewire.com, lifewire.com. And basically saying the obvious, your next office could be in virtuality. Virtual meetings will still be meetings, however. Sasha Brodsky, September 25th this was. And yeah, LifeWire, you can't see the logo, it's out of the broadcast rectangle, but it's at the top there. So basically, this is geared to people who, warning them basically, or advising them, maybe is a better expression, that their next office may well be in virtuality. So get to grips with it, folks. Looking at spatial Talgart. Well, there it's an overview, so they mentioned quite a few different platforms there. Don't know what that one is. Oh, I spent a week in a VR headset. Here's what
Oh, I
happens.
remember
That's
that.
not.
Right.
That's an old YouTube
Yep.
clip that they've obviously seen fit to end their little article with. It was quite funny. Funny. All right, moving on. So that was lifewire.com, lifewire.com. And again, we're on, this is vrfocus.com, vrfocus.com. And this is, in November, there is a sort of conference online called VR Days Europe. And they've just announced some of their first speakers. This is, I'm afraid, a pay serious money to get to kind of event. Online or not, but they have a crowd of luminaries there. Jeremy thingy from Stanford there, and somebody from Unity HTC. Um, there we are. Amsterdam, November 4th, 5th, and 6th. And you can just click through there. And
November, did you say?
yeah, November 4th, 5th, 6th
Oh,
of this
I
year in
could stand to go
Amsterdam.
to Amsterdam again.
Yeah, but we've got viruses
Yeah, there
everywhere.
is that virus thing. Yep.
I presume this is online, as opposed to actually in Amsterdam. Um, Zoom, printed magazine, satellite events across the globe. Well, you'd have to find out a bit more. But one of the reasons I came here was to just give you an idea when I click on the right. Here's your tickets, right? Oh, it could be worse. Those figures in euro are actually a bit more than they would be in UK pounds or American dollars. So yeah, it looks like you can get in for about, I suppose, that's probably a bit more than 50 US dollars, and then going way up to 250 euros. Yeah, and the different ticket skates. Oh, and there's a free one for the Church of VR. Good God. I hate references to things like, make it sound like a religion or some sort. It's like in Second Life, there is a region called Church of Rosedale. Um, it's taking fandom to a very unhealthy sounding degree, really. Anyway, that's VR days in Europe in the beginning of November. And if you go to vrfocus.com, that's where you'll find that general article, and you can click through. David Haynes from HTC, Kimberly Pontin from Sky VR, Marco de Miros from Venture Reality Fund, Miriam Market from PHI, Petri Rajahan from Nordic XR, and Maria. I haven't heard of any of them. I do know Jeremy, what's it? Up top. Anyway, you can find that at vrfocus.com. And then the final one, actually, by the look of it, from the Malbone's Twitter feed at least, is let me see. XR Health debuts at home VR therapy app for ADHD. ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I'm very glad they actually told me that because I wouldn't have had a clue
Mm-hmm.
otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
It affects millions of people, over 600 million children in the US alone. Convention lack of control over impulsive behavior to an inability to sit and play and pay attention. Prescription medications can help with focus, and individuals may learn concentration through skills through personalized instruction. And XR Health has developed a VR therapy app that can be used at home, right, by at home for that purpose. So medical, psychiatric almost use there. So you can find this post again at uploadvr.com, uploadvr.com. And I now need to load my other, what's it,
What?
tweet deck. Yeah, tweet deck, I think it is. My other sidebar, because
Ah,
I am moving from Melbourne's to the Metaworld newsfeed. Right, one day ago, let's see what we got here to start with. Okay. This is a post from yesterday. Experiencing extended realities. Now, this is a site. I felt it fitted in the Metal World News bit really, um, as virtual spaces. Um, the site is called Area for Virtual Art, and it's oddly this is odd. Yeah, so check out the spelling. It's AREAFORVIRTUAL, and then dot art, ART. So ART is the web suffix, if you see what I mean. So it's area for virtual dot art. Okay, and it's extending experiencing extended realities. And these are exhibitions and things that are happening online. You are 24th of, oh, Okay, well, we're past the 24th one, aren't we? What did I say today was? Yeah, 20. No. Okay, there is one on the 29th, an exhibition tour, um, 6 to 7 in the evening. I think this is European times. And on the 30th, from 6 in the evening to 9 in the evening, virtual festival headquarter and panel discussion. Um, I'm going to click on that to see where it gets us. Um, right, okay. I suspect when it happens, it will be some kind of embed actually on the site there that I've just clicked through to, but there's nothing there yet. So, virtual space events. Oh dear, oh dear. That wasn't quite what I meant to do. Uh, what's happening here? Oh, I found a new way to present my pictures, but they're on a website which is a bit slow to launch and doesn't let me zoom in. Yeah, never mind. But at least it's better than having my desktop quick links up. Right. We do this almost every week here. This is Your World's EU hype event. So Your World's YOURWORLDS.eu. And you can't really get to anything else here. It's just the if you want to do it, it's backslash hype events, HYPEVENGS. And any day you go here, it will show you events on the hypergrid, OpenSim, for the day you're on, and then it moves down to the days coming up. And for those of you who say that OpenSim is still is deserted and everybody's deserted it, then think again because it might be that comprehensive, but I mean it does show that there are different things happening in different places around the hypergrid every day. Most of them tend to be in the evening USA time, but well, no, actually, well, no, there are a few in British time here. Some of the grids on OpenSim, of course, are European based. There's quite a few. I forget which ones are which, but there's a few here that are based in the UK. There are others based in the Netherlands, even in Israel. Yeah, all over the place there, really. So always a good site to link to. Right. Okay. This is Leo Lobo advertising non-profit commons. So that's gone. Here we are. Um, Another link for events. This is for Decentraland events. I'm tagging all these frequently, but simply because sometimes I'm hunting around trying to find some events or other, and it's not clear where they are. So I've got a feeling this is another naughty site that doesn't like dark mode. Yeah, there we are. Um, October 9th, Decentral Games Casino Night. There's Decentraland again. Notice the avatars there actually have legs, which is a point in their favour. On October the 9th. Um, what is this? Metaverse Broadcasting Company.
Uh oh.
Started 38. Open MTF and Frankie Needles host a talk show about the metaverse. Do they in fucking deed? Wow. Surprise, surprise. I didn't notice that before. Um, it says now, but then it says 28 days ago, so I don't really know kind of what is happening there at all. Um, but they've stolen my name,
As opposed to
or
Metaworld?
me. Um, oh, so actually, no, of course they haven't. No, but no, they've stolen NBC's name,
Right, right.
which is Metaverse Broadcasting, and well, I would have to check that.
We have to follow up, see who. Maybe it's
It
someone from
could
there.
be,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the only people it could be is Rob. Um, Never heard of Frankie Needles. But NBC always did have problems with people passing themselves off as people with film shows to submit to NBC and then post them on YouTube as NBC programs, even though they were never accepted by NBC. It was very
Right.
weird.
Right.
People are weird.
Uh,
People are weird.
Now we're a
The
reality. Now we're a
expression over
reality
here is
television show.
now there ain't nought so strange as folk. Is an expression that
Ah.
somebody always used to
Okay.
tell me. There's nought so strange as folk.
I would agree.
Anyway, this is events.decentraland.org. So events I don't need to give you. Dot DECENTRALAND.org. And as you can probably gather, there aren't actually a great deal, certainly exciting, but well, these are all in the early days of December. I mean, they all seem to be gamey kind of things, really. And I guess that is casino night, maybe gambling even. There's a few things here, like the crypto college, because um, what do they call it? Cryptocurrency, whatever, is a major part of
Bitcoin.
Decentraland. So, yeah, yeah, and Ethereum and all the rest. I
Yeah.
don't think it's Ethermon is in it. Yeah, I'm not sure, but they use that sort of stuff as currency. Let's see, marketplace. Start browsing. Well, yeah, I have no idea what currency that is. It might actually be a particular game currency, or it might be, might be Bitcoin or something like this. I think that symbol probably means something. Anyway, not gonna waste time on that. Just thought you should know. Um, okay. Jim Perbick, I mentioned this last week, although it was last week's blog. I actually mentioned JimPurbrick.com, JimPurbrick.com. This chap has just fairly recently left the fast book and gone back to talking. And this blog is designed really for people who may be new to virtual worlds to learn how they work, etc. Jim Perbrick, for those of you who don't know, you may remember him as Lyndon at Second Life. His name was Babbage Lyndon back in the day. And when he moved from Second Life, he actually moved to the Fastbook and has now left Fastbook, basically. And actually, it's quite funny. He's got links here down. He's got a link roll at the side of his page. And to be honest, Ian Predator there, for example, that's New World Notes, Gwyneth Llewellyn. These are all the classic bloggers, but they're all the classic bloggers from back in the day. I doubt if half of those links go anywhere now. But anyway, good stuff he's writing there. So he's a good person to catch up with. There we go. Bit of chat. Right. Leave that one open, just so there's something open on screen. Um, gif.mx/virtual. Right. Where does this go? Ooh. Oh, this is, yeah, GIF is an international film festival. This is 21st, 2nd, this is presumed, okay. Yeah, okay, this was midweek. This is actually over now, but if you were following the Metaworld newsfeed midweek, you would have been able to follow through to those events. Um, I would remind you, this is a post from Lear Lobo at the conference.opensimulator.org, which is basically their call for proposals, which is still open. There we are. And yeah, there we are. Presenter with a nice top hat on. Yeah, basically December 5th and the 6th. I will, if all goes to plan, be doing 2 lunchtime panels at this event, looking at the future of stuff. So what I say at the moment, stuff. Maybe I should call it the future of stuff. That would be an appropriate phrase, wouldn't it? Anyway, they have a call for proposals. So if you're active in OpenSIM or anything related to it, really, I suspect, you can get in touch with them if you'd like to do a short presentation or maybe convene a panel or something like that. They do need to know in advance, of course, and Let's see. If you haven't got those in by October the 18th, you are, as they say, fucked.
Yeah, out of luck maybe.
In my experience, they do sometimes extend it if it falls
Yeah.
on a Friday or something. They extend to the Monday, or it's open for whatever. But that's you got 18. You got 3 weeks still to get your proposals in, but
Yep.
I really recommend you don't leave it to the last day because there are good people volunteering behind the scenes here trying to get it all organised, and the last thing they want is to hear on the very last day of scheduling that they've got 100 new proposals. So don't leave it to the last minute if you can help it.
You should
But
call your
there you
panels "Here Are and There Are."
here are and there are, yeah,
Yep.
or now are and
Now are there. Yep. Yep.
then are and will be
The possibilities
are endless.
are endless.
Are they not? Are they not? Yes, I know. Oh dear. Okay, so that is a conference. CONFERENCE dot Open Simulator, which is OPENSIMULATOR .org. I'm not going to spell org for you. If you're that stupid, you don't deserve to
No.
be sending in a proposal anyway. Sorry?
Stupid.
Come on, everybody can spell org.
Right. Right.
If they can't, what are they doing sending a proposal in?
Just
By the way, if you want a
don't
quick
call the
link
viewers
through to order,
stupid. Yeah.
I will confuse what the heck I want.
All right. Very good.
And if I abuse them enough, they might come back for more.
Maybe so.
Look at how successful the White House is.
Right. Right.
Just abuse people outrageously, non-stop, and they come lapping it up. They might even vote for me somewhere, sometime for something. Who knows? Right. Um, a reminder that these links, the last 3 or 4 links, have been at twitter.com/metaworldnews, or one word, as opposed to the main Mal Burns feed. Um, Much more polite in the Mal Burns feed, you see.
Mhm.
Okay, Hypergrid Zone. This is good 4 days ago. One of the open sim worlds is called DigiWorlds. They've been around for quite a long while now, and they're having some awards. Yes, the DigiWorlds Awards. Um, or they've had it. Okay, very good. Right, they've had it, but this is a report on it, I guess. Let me see. This looks like another site that needs to be kicked into brightness. Right. Um, okay. Basically, a roundup of award winners and stuff. Their annual celebration. Oh, they're called Digians, are they? Very good. Honouring our hardworking and talented Digians.
Hmm. Mhm.
Digital residents are called Digians. Well, what the hell? Yeah, okay. Um, Coming soon, it doesn't say exactly when. They're going to have interviews with the winners, the inside story, whether that's video or whatever, I don't know. And, oh no, that's a location um, thing. Right, okay, and I'll put that away before I get too confused. Um, 5 days ago, okay. Don't know whether this is actually new news or not, but it is there. This is Mozilla Hubs, which is Mozilla, the Firefox people. They're online web worlds, basically. These have become very, very popular indeed since COVID hit. And this is just a quick update from midweek. They've added personal avatars to Mozilla Hubs, and this is what happened. They make it sound like a gosh golly thing. Um, okay, they fixed the problem and have integrated Ready Player Me avatars with the platform. Yeah, I thought that was familiar.
Mhm.
The Ready Player Me announcement came last week, I think. So that is actually already covered. But if you want to need a bit more, this is readyplayer.me. In fact, readyplayer.me. And they'll
But
tell you about the
but what
avatars they've
happened,
added.
Mel?
What?
They added the avatars, and what happened?
Well, they got added.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, it's
The world didn't end, so that's
no, that are basically one thing about the platform that just didn't do it for them was creating personal avatars, the generic robot style avatars which have zero similarities or connection with.
okay.
So, having the right tools, they decided to fix the problem and integrate Ready Player Me avatars with the platform.
All right. So it got better. Yay.
Yeah, so basically they put their avatars on Mozilla Hubs to improve the avatars on
Yeah, when
Mozilla
I
Hub.
when I come in with my um, Ready Player Me avatar into Hubs, everyone says, "Where did you get that? How did you do that?"
Yeah,
Yep,
well, here you are.
there it
A
is.
little tip.
Now everyone
Ready
can do it.
Player, readyplayer.me. And you go there and get one. I think this is a simple one where they just take a photo from your
Yes.
webcam and generate it from that.
Yep.
There is another one that's a bit more complex that can make an avatar slightly more complex, but this seems to work so well. I mean, mine looks like me.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not sure what I've done with it. It looked quite like it. The only I do remember going to a few places and getting this done, and then going to log in somewhere and I can't find where I've kept the avatar. I don't know whether I'm meant to go to Ready Player Me to get them to export it to the platform I need it in, or whether I'm supposed to download it and then upload it. But yeah, you can follow links to find more about it. Oh yeah, and they recently were featured in Product Hunt, which is a people listing it. You know, so I get Product Hunt listings. It's usually about 15 or 20 a day, like selected from startups and things like that. But people who get featured in that really do get quite a boost. You know, they you go to their homepage and they say featured in Product Hunt. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a sort of bit of a status mark to get added there. Um, Yeah, now I was getting a bit confused, wasn't I? There is also that's readyplayer.me. This link is the mixed reality blog. This is actually blog.mozvr.com, M-O-Z-V-R. This is the Mozilla reality blog. And this post is basically about privacy and data and stuff. Your privacy and Mozilla Hubs is the title of the piece. Both of these they're slotted in together, and I was getting Mozilla's blog mixed up with Ready Player Me's blog, but I'm sure you understand that. Yeah, and that's it for that. So I'm simply left. Let me go to my sidebar here, and I'm actually going to switch to. I've done a rather, well, it's hopefully a rather clever thing. I've got a sidebar in Opera here, which is normally where I show my Twitter feed, but I've actually rigged it to show my Slack, one of my Slack channels, which is the where I keep it's a channel called Of Interest. Now, interestingly, and this may help James too, for that matter. I forgot to mention to you earlier. Um, the content, almost all the content of this Slack channel, is now in the Metaworld Discord server, not the Hypergrid Explorers Discord server, but the Metaworld Discord server. It's simply called Metaworld, and you can I think it's open for search. You can sort of find it, and I forget what I put the setting on. You may be able to join, or you may have to apply to join, but one way or another, I will get it. Unlike the Hypergrid Explorers Discord server, which is all about OpenSim and the Hypergrid, this one is designed to be a bit similar, but a bit more high level and focused on cross-platform or all the different platforms of virtual worlds, whether they are actually interconnected or not. Because there's just so much happening, I felt we needed a new server for that. So,
What's the name of the
I,
channel?
the chat. Oh, you mean the channel at that server?
Oh, it's a new server. It's not on the MetaWorld
No,
server.
it's the MetaWorld server. You're
Okay.
already in there,
Yep.
James. But we were talking about how to get the YouTube links and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is a way that the same links I've got here in Slack at the moment are also in Discord in Oh God, I'm playing with the wrong mouse here, aren't I? That doesn't help.
Good.
Okay, here we are. Discord. Let me go to right. The server is simply called Metaworld,
Yep, I'm there.
and yeah, um, I've rejigged the channels a bit, but we've got news talk and we've got linkage and we've got general, and depending on what the links are, they tend to go to those.
Okay.
Um, Let me see. World of okay. No, the general I think is my tweets, right? News talk is stuff that is imported from other servers, like notifications, and linkage is the one that is more or less duplicating my the stuff at Slack under of interest. But I'll tell you a bit more about that later if we need it. That's if any of you watching want to join the MetaWorld server, just look it up on Discord servers, and I'm sure there's only one. We just got a few people in there at the moment, but if you're interested in a hypergrid like server that actually deals with multiple virtual worlds, and I do say virtual worlds, it's not a general VR channel. It's a channel for immersive spaces, but not necessarily all built with the same underlying code. So you can check that out there. Right now, looking at what is there, however, um, loading history. What's going on here? Oh, Friday, September. Oh, crumbs! I've scrolled down too far, haven't I? Okay, what do we have on Monday? Um, right, we have this one, which is about Wave, which is another virtual world platform, and a piece on their immersive context.
Uh, and I don't see. Oh, let's just a second. Okay. And it's very quiet again, Mal. So.
Okay, that's probably a matter of me. Oh yes. Okay. The account you need here at YouTube is Ray Ranchel. You can see it there.
Yep.
Oh, good avatars. Okay, I'm going to pause it there. Um, Wave, the platform in question here, also have a server on Discord too. So if you just look under, wherever you go to find Discord servers, and just type in Wave, as in the things that happen on top of oceans, stuff's generated by the moon. In other words, and well, never mind. WAVE. And you will find that. You will find that, and you can get a lot more from their Discord server. But the YouTube account for that clip is Ray Rangel. That's RAY, first name and second name RANGEL. Right. Um, Now moving down a bit here. Um, okay. I'll just give you a glance at this one. Um, this is Infinite Retina, Irena Cronin. Um, Irena is the person who wrote her recent book with Robert Scoble. And this is, as you see, it's a Zoom-based roundtable on spatial computing and the uses of artificial intelligence. So um, the subscriber you want is Infinite Retina Irina Cronin. So it's the company, then her name. INFINITE space RETINA space dash space IRENA space CRONIN. And this is 90 minutes long. So I'm just showing you the stills from the Zoom thing. I'm not going to play that. It's we wouldn't be able to get very far in the space of this program, I can assure you. So we will, yeah, we'll dispose of that. The tabs are quite possibly using up a bit more RAM than they need to here, really. Right. Um, okay, moving down the list here. Um, Okay, this one is a retrospective. You might like it though. It's a YouTube user called Teddy Sanders, and it's titled "Oh, the Places You'll Go at Burning Man," and it's 7 minutes of celebration, basically, of the places you're going to go at Burning Man. I think this is in Somnium Space, or it could be Decentraland, or it could,
Today is your day. You're off to
and the
big
real
things.
world, of
You're
course.
open away.
You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose.
You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy who will decide where to go.
I think this bit was filmed before COVID because there wasn't a real world player this year.
Some people will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down a not so good street. And you may not find any you want to go down.
Okay.
Down long wheeled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weird.
Okay, well, it's all very interesting, very pretty people, but we haven't got 7 minutes. And finally, well, it's not finally, but I mentioned in the newsfeed that the V&A, Victoria and Albert Museum here in London, have this thing about virtual reality, Alice in Wonderland thing. It's called Curious Alice, and this is the trailer from the V&A. It's only a minute long, so I think we can stand watching all of this. If it let.
Wonderland, nothing is as it seems. Use your senses to complete curious challenges. Race against the clock to capture the white rabbit's missing glove. Explore fantastical landscapes. Solve the caterpillar's mind-bending riddles. Defeat the Queen of Hearts in a curious game of croquet. Reward your curiosity. Discover your wonderland.
That very much reminds me of some of those older CD-ROM kind of games, the graphics and such. But the main difference, of course, being that that is in fully fledged VR. So if you're in a headset, you could probably tell from the camera movements there, you're really very immersed in the cartoon, the graphic feel of it. Actually, so it
I
seems
love those
quite good.
American McGee Alice games. Those are great.
I don't know those, or do I? American McGee?
Yeah, he was the creator of a couple of Alice CD games.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, it's probably the sort of thing that's escaped my memory. I
Really
should
well done. Yep.
she rings a slight bell, but oh god, I've got stacks and stacks of CD-ROMs
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
here. Those, I haven't looked at them for a couple of decades now, with everything online. But yeah, my memory's hot the creek. Okay, Deep Down Divers VR episode 8. This
Oh
was
yeah.
on Wednesday. Um, Alex Salniknov is the guest, and well, you probably recognise the beginning of this. It's always the same. This what's his name? Alex.
That was episode 12. And since then, I haven't done
Again,
anything.
it's a bit like last week's. It's
Just
actually the
following
avatar, but
sessions
instead of interviewing
and
another avatar, he's interviewing them on a
concept about the
something like
blockchain
a Zoom screen
and what how to be
or
ready
whatever.
for it.
All very interesting, although I
I
guess it
try to remember
lacks
and
the well. It's interesting to
remember
see
it
that sort of stuff being
already
done. I think I prefer, as a matter of every
and
week, I think I prefer seeing two avatars
for
talking, but
technical guys
you know,
here.
we'll see.
About
Anyway,
how it
Deep
works
Down Divers
for
VR,
native reality
DEEPTO.
and it
Hang on,
struck me just from the
I'm going to shut it up while I read out.
Yeah.
Deep Town Divers, DEEPTOWN space DIVERS space and then VR, the letters in capitals there. And that's the user you want there. So it's a weekly show, and this week was number 8. It was midweek. It was, let's see, 23rd of September. So that would have been about Wednesday or Thursday, I think it comes out. Okay, heading down here. Um, okay, this show is one that James will almost certainly know.
and
Yep.
welcome to another episode of the VR downloading.
Right, this is another one that is far too long for us to show you, but it's an hour long, 59 minutes and 7 seconds to be precise. It's the weekly VR download. They're talking about SideQuest, Future, Solaris, PSVR, Minecraft, and No Man's Sky Origins, amongst other things. And SideQuest CEO Shane Harris is the sort of guest in the discussion.
Yep.
Um, the where are we gone? Yeah, here we are. The site you need, if you're going to go to YouTube, the site you need to look up is Upload VR. You've seen our web pages for it, but this is their YouTube site. UPLOAD and then VR in capitals. And again, this is a regular weekly show, and it may not be the greatest thing to look at, but it is very, very interesting indeed. One of the better ones out there. All right, let's put these. Keep forgetting to put these away and forget all the tabs that still open. Okay, have I got anything else here? Oh yeah, we. Oh, comes. I seem to have two. Oh yeah, okay. This is we again mentioned this in the Albone's tweet feeds. Um, this is the people in XR. Um, I'm halfway through it, which is why it just came in at the rather oddly there. Okay, XR industry podcast basically. This is the guest here is you saw the one a few minutes ago that was the I've forgotten it already. Not VR download. Yeah, Deep Town Divers. Well, the guest there was Alex Senikov, but the interviewer there, in other words, the one who wasn't on the Zoom screen but was an avatar, um, was the CEO of Somnium Space, where it's filmed. And his name is Artur Sykov, Artursychov. And people in XR here, episode 12. The guest in this one is Arthur C. The host, I'm not quite sure who the host is. Anyway, the site you will want is MRTV space dash mixed space reality space TV. So MRTV dash mixed reality TV with spaces in all the places you would actually expect, which makes a change from Twitter, doesn't it? Right. There he is. He's the CEO of Something in Space. It was very interesting. This I don't know why, but seeing him in the flesh, he was totally.
Podcast that introduces you to the most exciting players in the industry. And here is your host, Sebastian Aw. In this episode,
Oh yeah.
we explore what is available
I didn't
in the
expect.
market.
I don't know why I didn't expect him to look like he does. I think I expected him to be quite a bit older.
Only one
But there
place
you go. Um,
outsourced.
anyway, this is
So
an hour and 10 minutes long.
it was great, but
So
I was
the
recently
subject they
watching
call
your
after
episode
Psycho
talking
himself
about
social VR
some
evangelist.
nice Russian words.
He's also a sort of Ethereum
Really in detail how
coin
it works.
evangelist,
That
but
inspired
he
me, and
talks about a whole
slowly
load
but
of things.
gradually some bug in my mind.
Anyway, again, I can't. I really wish I could play all these for you, but I can't. The only other thing here is actually a clip, believe it or not, from HBO home box office in America that they've posted on YouTube, and it's a teaser really for Lovecraft Country, Sanctum VR, and American Dream. It's basically filming the VR project that they've. There's been a lot of talk about, basically. Um, HBO is very simple if you want to subscribe, and Lovecraft Country is what they're doing. Um, this is really just giving you a bit of a flavour for the actual thing itself. There's been a lot of talk about this one, so.
Once you have your fill in the antechamber, you can set your sights over here, where we find one of the most wondrous objects these worlds have known. Just look at this.
My one criticism of this movie is that although the narrative is perfectly presentable, everything, whoever's operating the camera seems to be in an awful lot of a hurry. They
Hmm.
never go very far, but they seem to be rushing around like they got something in their underwear. Um, so, um, Sanctum Event 2 An American Dream. So look that up at HBO there. Right, and with that, I'm pleased to say that I think we've got to the end of all our bits and boxes and bits and
Hmm.
pieces and stuff. And I better open the sidebar or our little thing goes a bit haywire. So yeah, I shall dispose of that. Um, okay, this is not very. I've actually synced the folder where I'm keeping our pictures over on the Mac, which is where I used to broadcast from, and they're meant to be synced to this machine. But I think they only sync every 24 hours because there's nothing from today. This is all stuff from last week I've got here. So yeah. Okay. So I'll put that away. Shame about that. Um, right. Okay. We'll leave it there. A nice little picture screen to let us go out on. Yeah. Well, actually, I'll tell you what. We're not going to listen to it.
Some call it the aura ring. Others call it the key.
Spooky. I think it's like a German accent on that. You're Oh, I slid the wrong thing down, didn't I? Okay. So I was going to say we'll leave you with a pretty picture, but we'll give you moving pictures as well, just in case. So, James, any thoughts from you on all that went before?
Oh my.
4R.
Just the
Oh, maybe after R. This is your after R spot. I
the
did the
after
before
hour,
R.
right. Just the metaverse terminology discussion. I think is it's always going to be controversial. It's going to be like the AR, VR, ZR, ABCR So we just along for the ride. But I did want to ask, do you know my? Did you see my T-shirt today?
Not yet.
Okay.
I
Oh,
tell
that's
you,
right. You can't see. Right, right.
my back is the yes. Okay, eyes.
Yep.
Yes, cats.
Yeah.
No, not
So
cat's eyes.
this is
No,
from
no, no.
Sansar, and it's Augustine's store is the
Ah,
vendor who gave this free, and so it wore it on my body today.
very good.
Yeah.
So a different t-shirt every week.
I'm
That's great
trying.
fun.
I'm trying what I can.
Oh, we can be yeah. It reminds me of when we had well, I
Well,
guess we
Tara would
filmed
do
it.
different things, and Maria would do
Oh,
different
but
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
show and tell. But
Right.
actually,
Right.
the thing I was thinking of was I think it was in Second Life when Maria would turn up every week in a different costume.
Right. Right. Yep.
And she'd stand up on the little poster thing and tell us what
Yeah,
she was
that's
wearing
right. That's
that week.
right.
I think actually it may have been in open sim because I think the idea was to show us stuff she found in open
Right.
sim. But
Right.
yeah, it's nice to have a little fashion spot.
It's part of the
You know,
hypergrid
it
business.
can't be me because I'm too lazy to ever get changed.
Yeah.
I got a special dry cleaner that works on everything while I'm wearing it. You
That's
know.
right. That's right.
That's fair. I change my style now and again, but certainly not every week. Every decade maybe or something like that. When I find something intriguingly good or can grow a beard again without looking
Mm-hmm.
horrendous. Um, yeah, um, yeah. The X. It's. I remember thinking it was stupid when Apple came up with another one, but basically Apple's one is still a subsidiary of X. I guess XR is still working at the moment as the umbrella expression, and I'm sort of getting used to it. But when it comes to the metaverse, I mean that is a name. We know what it represents. I mean, to some people, Second Life was once the metaverse,
Mm-hmm.
and then to other people, Open Sim was. But then, but they don't interconnect. So people still feel the metaverse is the world of spaces you can go to online. Put it that way, mostly social spaces. Although including in some cases, I think games. Um, and we've always wished there was interoperability. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing that incensed me about this Comic Con thing is that even, if there was connectivity, they would be using the name of an integrated system that had nothing to do with them. It's like me changing the name of this program to the Trump Show.
All
You
right.
know,
Should I prepare
I
that
can
graphic?
no way. But if I could do it, if I did it right, I'm sure the old link would get a few clicks, but it would be might be fun to do it, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
but no, it would be utterly misleading because of what this is. We're not even the metaverse news. We are Metaworld news because Metaworld is a company identity, as it were, although obviously dealing with metaverse. But yeah, God, I don't know what. God, I got a blank today. Snow Crash. Who is it again?
It's Neil
Forget about
Stephenson.
Neil Stevenson. Right. I don't. I've got Charles Stross on the mind today. Actually, so never
Okay.
mind. Yeah, it's not Charles. It's Neil Stevenson. I have no idea what he thinks of it. Um, you know. Um, I don't think he's ever really commented on its adoption. By virtual worlds these days. He has been in some of them as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's been fairly happy with it. But I'd love to ask him what he thinks of the New York Comic Con calling itself the Metaverse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not in any way connected with any existing or even hypothetical metaverse. It's just it's so off center that how on earth did they get that name? Or anyway, rabbit hole. I've done that already. I think our viewers know exactly how I feel about that.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
they do,
so.
don't you?
Yep.
Yes.
Down the rabbit hole.
Okay, I think we'll knock on the head for another week here, actually, before things get too silly.
All right.
Yeah, I've actually experienced quite a few rabbit holes in the course of this show,
Yeah.
haven't I?
Yep.
So we don't need to go out on one too. So we will be back with the next show next week, of course. So meanwhile, it is goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him.
Now, which means it's goodbye from we are. We are exiting. We will be back next week with more we are for you to digest and hopefully enjoy. We will see you then, same time, same place next week. Have a good week and stay safe, everybody. Bye for now.
Okay, we're muted, and where did the outro go? Right.